welcome to HHTV. I've got Jess Bryant here. She is going to give us some information for all those home sellers considering selling in the spring. Jess, what is happening in the market at the moment in Launceston?
Well, it's interesting. COVID has had a really big impact on the market, and for us it's been a positive impact, not like the mainland. So at the moment I've got a lot of buyer inquiry. We've got a lot of attendees at open homes. So it's a very interesting time because there doesn't seem to be as many listings on the market as what the buyers would like. So there's a lot of competition for each listing.
Yeah, we've certainly seen that. We've had a few the other consultants have certainly experienced that in the business as well. And so that's, I suppose, good news for those considering selling, given that it is that shortage.
Yes. They are selling in isolation because there is less listings.
Yeah.
And the one thing I am finding though is that there's a lot of buyers that do need to sell, and they've been a bit reluctant through COVID to put it on the market just in case it just sits there, and they want to wait till they find the right property before they sell. So yeah. I suppose what I wanted to talk to you today about was how we can sort of ease the anxiety about going to market and what we can offer as advice to sellers to help the process, be as smooth as possible and not as scary as some people think it may be.
Yeah, and that's certainly across the board what we are seeing, because normally in a hot market you're probably seeing less subject to sales. They're they're less marketable to a vendor, that type of contract. But we've still got a pretty hot market, but we are seeing a few of those offers being made, and a lot of people with that condition missing out on property, I suppose. So,
and it's understandable. I understand why people want to find the right property first before they sell, but from a vendor's perspective, it's a longer settlement time, and I suppose if you are on the market and you have sold, it's going to be a lot more appealing to a vendor with a contract like that.
Yeah.
So, but I think it's also not having all the information before choosing the right property too is a big reason to have an appraisal done on your property and know exactly where your property sits in the current market.
Yeah. Okay. So just for tips for those thinking of selling in the spring, so you mentioned get an appraisal.
Yes. So get an appraisal, preferably by me, but you can choose whoever you want. Get an appraisal. Have the agent make sure that it's a thorough appraisal, that you've got comparable properties and you've got the recent sales, but you're also given a detailed breakdown of land, dollar per square metre, house per square metre, and really hone in on the benefits and improvements of your home and where it does sit in the market.
Okay, so I suppose what you're saying there is just make sure that the homeowner, they're almost convinced of where the price sits when they get the appraisal figure, so they can go out to the market with confidence rather than just having an appraisal where someone tells them a figure and they go make financial decisions based on that figure. No problem.
And another thing I'd suggest is we've got a lot of buyers obviously on our books currently that are pre-approved or cash buyers, and they're in the market, so they're going to open homes all the time, and I would suggest getting those buyers through your home to give price feedback before going to market, just as another way of reassuring that your home is saleable and that it is going to be in demand.
Okay, yeah, and I understand a lot of your listings do come from BuyerWorks, so you do have a really good buyer database. So I suppose as a bit of a service you also offer with your appraisal, the opportunity to get buyers through, get some feedback, which all that information is valuable.
Because you never know, you might find a buyer that falls in love with it and wants to buy it off market too. So there was a lot of off market sales over COVID, but people are putting it on the market because you will have a greater reach once you are on the market, and you're better to market your property to most people as possible to create the buyer competition.
Yeah. And in terms of just other things when people are getting prepared for putting their property on the spring, just so I was, what other things would I need to do? Get the appraisal, try and get some buyer feedback. What else?
Obviously tidy up the home. This time of year it's the most honest time to sell your home because it's always looking at the worst this time with the weather and the garden. So tidying up the garden, clearing gutters, making sure that the outside is, you know, low maintenance and everything is in good order. Decluttering, pack up the non-essential things, start doing that now. Clearing and decluttering spaces. When people walk in your home, you want to make them feel like they can sigh a relief, like that they feel comfortable straight away, that you can tell a story and give a sense of home straight away. When there's mess and clutter, people feel it's like going into a shop that has too many things in it. You feel claustrophobic and anxious. So if you make the space, people feel that there's a good flow with the house, and they're a lot more likely to fall in love with it and, you know, be more emotive.
Yeah, and from what I see, a lot of your properties are either well styled by the owner or you do get a stylist in. What's the reasoning behind that?
Well, I'm lucky that a lot of my vendors have a really great eye for detail, so we don't need the stylist to come in because they've just got a beautiful eye for detail. But if we have, say, got a vacant home to sell, I will always suggest a stylist and Floor Walls and a Stylist is our preferred stager, and she just has the most wonderful eye for detail in terms of making a house feel like a home, and it really does make an impact on the end result, and I think it increases the value in the buyer's minds when it is staged or styled properly.
Yeah, well certainly you see you see the people's reactions when they walk into a home that has, you know, is styled properly, and they leave with that amazing feeling, and they often, you know, they'll reflect on that feeling when they're at home, and you know, often that's how you can get a great price.
Definitely.
So that's some good advice. Well, Jess, is there anything else in terms of tips for those guys moving on in spring?
No, I just think the number one is call me.
Yeah.
But just anytime, you know, please don't hesitate to call, just even if it's just advice about the right time to sell. If I have any current buyers or any current listings, please don't hesitate to call me.
Cool, no worries. Thanks very much for your time, Jess.
Thank you.
Thanks.